Welcome to Amidi Chats.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hello. If I sneeze really loudly, I'm sure it'll be cut out. But if I do, my husband told me that I was not allowed to do that anymore and that I needed to get myself together.
Oh, for the excessive sneezing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, if it ain't the coughing, it's the sneezing. How
Seems that way. She did mention that like yesterday though. She's like, I finally got over this cough and now I'm sneezing.
It's not even I started with a burn in my nostril.
Ooh.
Could feel it coming. It's some bullshit if you ask me.
I do feel bad for you. I'm sorry that you're dealing with all of this respiratory shenanigans.
This is, I feel, specifically allergies, but
Gotcha. Speaking of respiratory shit, I've been sick last week. Got sick on Monday
who
night.
knows anymore? Really?
I know. I had the COVID 2 weeks ago and then ended up with something else. Strep is what I had, actually.
We're really, what's the word for it? Salty about all of this.
Yeah,
Yeah. The illness needs to pack its bags and skedaddle.
this is true. This is true. But I'm feeling better, thankfully. That antibiotic is working. Anyway, what else? Let's see. What else has been up? I had a cousin who had a baby. Shout out Eloise.
Whoop whoop.
Ooh.
Visited them and got to see the baby. That was fun.
I saw a picture and, like, I literally don't well, Claire was never that small, and none of my kids were ever that small, but I surely just don't remember, a year ago when
Yeah,
she was at least close to that size.
yeah.
That
I
baby
feel
looked so tiny in
I feel
comparison to you.
She was
I,
6 pounds and 0.03 ounces, I believe.
yeah, that's wild. I feel like we've had generally larger kids anyway. Not huge kids, but like pretty big kids.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just like as soon as they're not a newborn anymore, you forget how small they can be. And then you see somebody else's baby, you're like, oh yeah, they do be
Hmm.
small.
That's true. Anyway, baby's good. Parents are good. They're all settling in over there. I spoke to them tonight. And so that's good. What else has been up with me? Probably not much. Just work and trying to get my things together for this trip we're going to be taking in a couple of weeks.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to Branson. You want to come?
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're going to Branson. We rented a mansion, like Aaron and Lyle's oldest son likes to say. We're going to stay in a mansion out there.
I mean, it's pretty mansion-like, mansion adjacent.
It's a big old house. So looking forward to that. Um, got some maintenance done on my truck. Hashtag old people goals. Got some new tires. Fixed the windshield. Anyway, that's about it. I don't have anything else interesting to share. What's up with you guys? I know y'all had some fun stuff happen recently.
Well, as you heard, I'm a sneezer now.
It's your new profession.
Yeah. Um, let's see. If I forget anything, you guys can
Right.
Chime in?
help me.
Oh,
Yeah.
we will. We
I've been
will.
I've been reading a book called Cinder, and the spiral this is taking me on is not yet enjoyable, but I'm not really ready to give up.
Mm.
It's just it was something I saw whenever we went to Books A Million when it was shutting down, and it looked interesting. So I rented it from the library, and it is related to it's like a version of Cinderella if Cinderella were a cyborg
Oh,
during a period of time where there was a plague.
oh,
Okay, is it still so Cinderella would have been set in like Renaissance-ish?
Victorian-ish, yeah.
Is it still like that? Is it like a steampunk setting?
I don't think so. Now I'm gonna look it up because I don't know, but I'll let you know in a minute.
Okay, no big deal. Continue.
Um,
You were telling me about this as we drove home from New Orleans, and I didn't think to ask these questions then.
yeah, it probably told me, but I sometimes will. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Based on this, I'm gonna say that it is futuristic because there's both humans and androids. It says, but she's definitely a cyborg,
Mm.
and it's set in the streets of New Beijing, and there's people, lunar people that watch from space. So
Does
That
she
sounds
have a fairy bot mother?
might, I don't know.
haven't got that far yet.
She definitely has a little like old bot android that follows her around. That's like her little
Mm.
sidekick.
Mm.
That like her mice and her birds and stuff.
Oh, like Gus Gus.
I guess kinda, yeah. So anyway, reading that, um, Oliver had another soccer game. They won.
Go Sharks.
No,
Mm-mm. Hornets this
they're the
year.
Hornets, yeah.
Go Hornets.
Poor guy has not been on the same team twice.
Oh, they were the Sharks last year, right?
Who knows?
Couldn't tell you.
They were
Oh.
the Sharks a couple of
Yeah, they were the Sharks once for sure. They were the Supersonics once.
they were the Tigers.
Yeah. The kids usually pick the name.
They were the Sharks, but they had some other, like, adjective added to that too,
Mm, mm.
Were they the Super Sharks? The Hammerhead
maybe.
Sharks?
The Tiger Shark.
Oh,
I
the
don't
Tiger
know.
Sharks. Yeah, that's right.
Sharks is popular around here. Anyway,
As are tigers.
yeah. Did I do we went to, RetroCon,
Yeah, the retro
and then,
Louisiana Retro Games Con.
I'll let Lyle get into that. I'm sure that's on his list to talk about, because I basically just carried Claire around, which, I mean, go me. I carried her basically the whole time. Um,
So you got tired, and then I carried her.
yeah, and then we had dinner with Casey and Jason after that, and then did some work over the course of the week, and we just went to New Orleans for the weekend. Our friends from Miami flew in. I say they're from Miami. They currently reside in Miami, but they're from Georgia. They've lived in New Orleans before. They've kinda lived all over the place.
Well, they lived by you guys, which is how you know them.
Right, well, I worked with her.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, we had a fun weekend in New Orleans.
I saw those pictures and they looked like y'all were having a good time.
Mhm.
We rode the trolley for the first time.
Mm. Did the boys like riding the trolley?
They did. They didn't wanna sit down. They wanted to stand up and hold
Right.
onto the bar. We went to the aquarium, and I must say they've recently redone the aquarium, and
You were lost?
yeah, it's, like, completely different, but you can kinda tell where the old entrance and exits were,
Hmm.
and I must say, I liked the older aquarium better.
Mm.
Not that this is was bad by any means, I just like the flow of the older aquarium better, and that's about it. I recently watched, House of Villains on Peacock.
Mm. Is that a currently airing show?
I have no idea. I was
Okay.
able to watch an entire season. It's all of the, like, quote, unquote, "villains" from the reality TV show.
Oh, I see.
Like from
Okay.
Big Brother and Survivor and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, there was a girl from The Bachelor, there was someone from 90 Day Fiancé,
Hmm.
Love Is Blind.
They even had someone from the real world, according to this list.
Oh,
90 Day
yeah,
Fiance, The Real World, Love Is Blind, Survivor, Love and Hip Hop Miami, The Apprentice, The Bachelor, Flavor of Love, Flavor Flav,
that was
Vanderpump Rules, and Bad Girls Club.
yeah, it was New York from, Flavor Flav.
How funny. So what was it, like a contest show of some kind, I assume?
Yeah, they were competing for $200,000.
Mm. House of Villains where they're like living together.
Yes, and then someone got eliminated every week.
Gotcha.
And as so every week someone was the supervillain. I freaking loved it. I didn't know who
Oh,
half the people were, but I
yeah.
was familiar with the Love Is Blind guy, the Vanderpump Rules guy.
Oh, hosted by Joel McHale. Did you say that?
I didn't say that, but he was like, one of his things was basically like, "Your votes are completely, private until the show airs, and then everyone will see it, I guess. I'm not gonna watch the show."
He's such a good host. Why doesn't he host more things?
Anyway, it
Um,
was a lot of fun to watch that. Again, when I say watch, normally when I'm watching shows like this, it's on in the background while I'm, like, working or doing something else, so I catch on to most of what's happening, but I do miss some things, but I still had a good time with that one.
nice.
But I don't watch any sort of reality show, like, just with 100% attention because that's not necessary.
Makes sense.
But anyway, that's it for me, I think. Oh, there was more to the weekend, but I'll let Lau touch on that again.
All right, I'll do my best. So yeah, so we went to so 2 weekends ago, we went to the Louisiana Retro Games Convention in Morgan City at the auditorium, which is they had some celebrity guests this time. They were not anyone that I knew specifically. There was a couple like local-ish wrestlers who I did know, but then it was a bunch of the actors and voice actors from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, so they kind of themed it around that. And it's generally like a I don't know, it's more of a sales floor. Like they have a lot of companies that are around that sell used or new retro games and consoles. They have like some little arcade cabinets and old systems set up for you to go play with your family. There's a lot of arts and crafts of people that make like game and nerd related candles and perler bead art and drawings, and there's cosplayers and all kinds of stuff. And it's just a fun little convention to go to. We went to the first one when it was a little bitty old small thing. Well, I think it might have been the second one. I don't know. And then the last two have been at the auditorium. This one was a little bigger than the one previously. They had more space, and the kids love the boys love it. They like to go look at all the old stuff and try and buy as much stuff as they can. And I like to pick up some retro games. I got a couple new games for Ollie and I to play on the stream together, and one more thing for my collection, which was both fortunately and unfortunately timed. And then
Why was it both fortunately and unfortunately timed?
well, I will get to that in just a second. And then
Oh,
we went to
excuse me.
New Orleans for the weekend to see our friends and their kids, and that was a lot of fun. We were in a torrential rainstorm when we got there on Friday that we were had to go out to the restaurant in so
Oh
that we could
no.
actually get a table. So that was a thrilling time. My shoes got soaked so badly that I could not wear them until we were coming home on Sunday.
Was it David Buster's? Did you go to David Buster's?
No. What was it called? Adolfo's?
Yes.
It's like an Italian restaurant that used to be in it that was is it's in what used to be an apartment above a bar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bitty old place with like maybe 8 tables,
Mm,
and they just cook in the kitchen that was the apartment's kitchen.
gotcha.
And it was good, but like no, I'm not like I like food. I love food, but like fancier places don't matter to me, I guess. Like, I feel like I could have the same quality spaghetti and like flounder at a dozen other places and not pay $150 for a family of five, four,
Mm,
because we don't really
mm.
buy food for Claire.
I just wanna say real quick, um, when it rains in New Orleans is like a bowl,
Yeah.
and whenever it rains in New Orleans, it fills up like a bowl, and so when he says torrential downpour, that also means, like, crossing the street is, like, ankle deep water.
Mhm.
Or if you're a child, knee deep water.
Correct. Emery had water up to his thighs, like, not it wasn't that deep, but he kinda ran through it. Yeah, we were all soaked. It was so much fun.
Wow.
And then we went to we did the trolley. So I am 36 years old.
Wow,
And
you're so old.
yes, and this is the first time I have ever ridden the streetcar trolley in New Orleans that I'm aware of.
You
S-
took the cutest picture with Claire. Was it on the trolley?
It
It
was on the
was.
trolley.
Oh my gosh, such a good picture. Please print and frame that.
I mean, she brings up any picture she's in. It's easy to take a cute picture with Claire.
Yeah, it was good.
But and then we went to the aquarium, which was a good time. The kids had a lot of fun. So we have this wagon that we got mostly for soccer seasons to put like the baby in and some toys and just kind of drag them and whatever stuff we have out to the soccer field, and they have somewhere to sit or nap or whatever. Well, we brought that around most of the places we went in New Orleans, and she sat in it for a while, but then at one point she realized she could kind of stand up because we don't really have to strap her in anymore because she doesn't just flop over. So she just kind of stood up in there and held on to the little cup holder in the middle and was just like parade floating her way around New Orleans. So she enjoyed that. She had a good old time.
She literally stood up for hours at a time.
Yeah.
And at one point, she got tired, and she laid her head down in the cup holder, but stayed standing.
That's funny.
True child activities. And that's and then and then we went back to the house that we were in, a B&B, and got some pizza and just hung out and let the kids play and visited. And then our friends had to go to sleep early because they had to leave at like 4 a.m. Sunday morning. So then we got up and vacated the premises and went and met my formerly internet stream friend, now real life friend, for lunch in New Orleans. Brunch, I guess. And that place was pretty good and actually not stupid expensive.
And her boyfriend.
Oh yeah, and her boyfriend. True, true, true. And so we went and met them, then we went and walked around to some little artsy shops and got some coffee and hung out and let the kids get exhausted again. And then we came home.
I got a cool pair of earrings.
Mm.
I got a new dice bag for my dice. And Ollie got a one last souvenir he needed. He needed one more souvenir, he said.
I was gonna tell him, "Hey, let's just go to, like, Walmart in New Orleans." Because, I mean, this stuff's expensive. "Hey, mom, can I have this? Let me see how much it is."
$45
Yeah.
for like a little bitty old print or something like that. So, but yeah, that was a cool store that where we got most of that stuff was it's like a what would you call that? Like an art collective,
Yeah.
and it has just little booths all around it that have each booth as an artist's work, and they have their all their links and stuff in there, and you just bring whatever you want up front. Their artists aren't there, and you just check out, and they attribute it to whoever made it, so they can get paid.
Gonna look it up so I can let our fans know where they should go.
Mm.
Mhm. And yeah, so that. Oh wait, that's not all. I have two more things, quick things. One thing, the game I have been playing on my stream, Mother 3, I beat it, and I am really mad about it. Like,
Mm.
I was so upset the final like 4 hours of the game. And not, I've heard it's a sad game, not because of that. It wasn't sad, it was just infuriating. And I was so mad when I finished. Like, I couldn't even process how angry I was about how disrespectful the game was to the player's time at the end. And so that pissed me right off. So I'm still formulating all my thoughts to like write something up about it.
Okay.
And then the other thing is the final thing that I have is that Akira Toriyama passed away, and I want to like give a little not a shout out, but a recognition of that. Yeah, he was 68 years old, and if you are a nerd, you probably know who he is, even if you don't realize that. But he is the creator of Dragon Ball. He also created most of the character designs and sketches for like Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, if you're familiar with that. It's been an RPG, like it's the first ever JRPG that like Final Fantasy grew out of and stuff like that.
Mm.
And he also did all the characters and art and most of the monsters for Chrono Trigger, which is what I was talking about earlier. I picked up a copy of Chrono Trigger for the Super Famicom, which is the Japanese Super Nintendo, at the Retro Games Con just for my little shelf display collection behind me. And He had already passed away, I believe, when I picked that up, and I didn't even know it yet because they didn't announce it for a week afterwards.
Oh,
Actually, yeah, because we went on Saturday the 2nd, and he passed away on the 1st. So it was, like I said, it was appropriately timed, but also sadly timed. But yeah, I was really when I found that. So I beat Mother, and I was upset and annoyed, and I just tabbed over to check Discord before I went to bed, and what I saw in Discord was that he had passed away. So I had a shitty night, basically, because
um,
like Dragon Ball Z coming to America is like a huge catalyst for anime coming to America, and just any anime that's based on like people fighting or having rivals and stuff like that can draw inspiration from him. And it was just a really and he was only 68, so it was just a really sudden and unexpected thing for me to read at 2:30 in the morning on a
sure.
Friday.
Well, R.I.P.
Yes. So yeah, so
to
that's the end of what I did
the
the past 2
Dragon
weeks.
Ball Z G.
That's right.
All right. Well, cool.
I did find it. It's called Zele Nola,
Hmm.
But yeah, we were trying to figure out how to pronounce it
Zele.
with an like a accent over the first E.
Yeah. And it's home to over 100 local artisans. If you want authentic locally designed crafts, jewelry, art, that was the intro, and that's where they stopped.
Very good. If you're in New Orleans, check them out.
On
Right.
Magazine Street, which is the Garden District, I believe.
Look
Heck
at
if
you,
I know.
Noah, 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 Nola.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't spent enough time there.
I avoid it if I can.
All right. Are we ready to move on? Y'all good?
May yeah?
Me, yeah. Okay. So this episode is a little different than our last episodes. It's going to be a little movie centric. We've all decided to, at Lyle's request, actually, we decided to watch and review a movie. We'll talk about that in a bit. But to go along with that, I decided we would play a little game today. And it's going to be a movie themed game.
The way you hung on that today
Yeah,
really made me feel, guess what? Guess
some
what
kind
way?
of way.
Some kind of way.
Okay, so we're going to play a movie themed game. Are you guys ready?
Nope. I'm bad at movies, but we'll
Yep.
see.
Yep, we'll see.
I said I was bad at the last game we played, and I won that one. So
So, you guys will be the guessers, and I'm going to be the clue giver. And here's how the game's going to work. I'm going to give you a bad description. I'm doing air quotes, a bad description of the movie. And it's going to be a fairly popular movie. And you have to guess the movie by the bad description.
Okay.
can these
Uh,
movies be from any time period?
Anytime period. I'm going to give you a for example before we start, just so the audience can know and you guys can know what I'm looking for. So, the first example, a bad movie description would be drug addicted girl takes advantage of mentally challenged boy for 3 decades. Answer Forrest Gump.
Okay.
It was Janae. Janae took advantage of
Jenny.
Juarez. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you a bad description. We'll see if you can guess the movie.
Does she take
Ready?
advantage of him?
I mean,
Kind of.
no.
She
Kind
just
of,
like
but no.
she didn't love him, and she knew he loved
Right.
her, and she was
Right.
willing to take his help or assistance or anything he would give.
Right. Right.
More of a mooch than a.
These descriptions are bad. So yeah, don't hold them to the truth.
Do we get clues?
If you need them, I will try to give you clues. There are none on this particular quiz I'm looking at, but I should be able to come up with some to help you
All right,
guys out.
let's go.
Let's
I
go.
got
All right.
I got this. Yo.
I think y'all are going to do pretty well. All right. First clue.
Mm,
Rich girl lets poor man freeze to death.
rich girl lets poor man freeze.
Star Wars.
No.
Uh,
That was a good one.
that's a good guess. I like it. Rich girl lets poor man.
Batman and Robin, Mr. Freeze.
No. The clue is Aaron should really know this.
Oh, Titanic.
Yes.
Ah,
Titanic.
fair enough.
She'll never let go. She'll never let go.
Except immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, next clue. Talking frog convinces son to kill his dad. This one's tough, but it made me laugh.
Talking frog?
Yeah, and don't get hung up on that word. It's how they chose to describe the character. It's not really a frog.
Oh.
Well, I hate that.
I know.
Pinocchio.
Mm-mm.
Pinocchio doesn't kill his dad?
Depends on the fiction you're reading.
Okay. Well, I want to read the.
The
Oh my
character is small and green
Like Jiminy Cricket.
and talks in a funny way.
Princess and the Frog.
Convinces son to kill his dad.
Yeah. That would be Prince and the Frog. Oh, I know what this is. It's Star Wars.
That's correct. Yoda convinces Luke to kill his father in a roundabout way. Trains him up. Yeah, that one's kind of hard. Okay. All right. Next clue. Grumpy emo chick ponders whether to shag a corpse or a dog over several years.
Oh my god. Fight Club.
No.
Can you please repeat the clue, sir?
Sure.
That clue, by the way, went on a journey that I wasn't ready for.
This one made me laugh so much. Grumpy emo chick ponders whether to shag a corpse or a dog over several years.
I want this to be Beauty and the Beast, but it's not.
Spoiler, she shags the corpse.
Okay. Grumpy emo chick.
What actress do you know that's a grumpy emo chick?
Sweeney Todd.
No.
um. Oh, Twilight.
Yes. Oh gosh. So funny. Okay. This one's kind of a stretch, but I'll ask it. Boy spends 7 years being a third wheel.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Yes. Yes.
I was like 7 years, not 500 days of summer.
Leonardo DiCaprio wanders a frozen wasteland in search of an Oscar.
Oh, that movie with the bear, right?
Yeah,
What's it
It's
called?
The Revenant.
that's
Yeah,
right.
I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, me either.
Here's a short one, but accurate. Paranoid billionaire afraid of immigrant.
Oh, I feel like I've heard this before. Is it Batman?
Yes.
Which Batman, though? Afraid of immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bane is kind of an immigrant.
It's not a Batman villain.
It's not a Batman villain.
Uh-uh.
Oh, Batman versus Superman.
That's
Batman
correct.
v Superman. Sorry.
That's
We couldn't include the
correct.
S in the title.
Okay, next. Girl has to pretend she's a man to be taken seriously.
Move on.
You got it.
$1 Million
Record
Baby.
time. Record time. Another animated. A guy learns to love a girl without her Instagram filters.
Shrek.
Yes.
That's funny.
Oh. Noseless guy has an unhealthy obsession with a teenage boy.
Also, Harry Potter.
Yes. Also, Harry Potter. Okay. I'm gonna skip that one. After losing his father, a young boy joins a hippie group and becomes a vegan.
Young
Dune.
boy.
Nope.
After losing his father.
A young boy joins a hippie group and becomes a vegan.
Um,
Animated.
The Jungle Book?
Oh no,
No.
no, no. The Lion King.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Group spends 9 hours returning jewelry.
Oh, The Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Yes.
Aaron hasn't seen those.
I have seen one.
Quite possibly my favorite set of movies. Next, a guy that's alone in the forest kisses a
Robin Hood.
dead body while 7 other guys watch.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. A family's first Airbnb experience goes very wrong.
Hostel.
No, but right track.
Um, a family.
Uh,
Clue?
Sure.
sure.
Red rum.
Okay, The Shining.
Yeah. Let's see. Older sister ruins younger sister's chance to appear on television.
Is this live action?
Yeah, part of a trilogy.
Older sister.
Ruins younger sister's chance to appear on television.
I got nothing.
Me either.
Clue?
Yeah. Sure.
The clue I'm thinking of might give it away, but oh well.
Well, so did Red Rum.
I know. Reaping.
What?
Reaping.
Reap.
Mm,
No.
Clue?
sure.
District.
District?
Uh-huh.
Reaping district.
Listeners are currently yelling at you guys.
They're not loud enough.
I can picture Casey on her way to her next mold inspection.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I've had a handful more people tell me I totally got Slimer, including Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing.
Clue again?
Sure.
Snow.
I have no idea.
Clue again? Effie.
Effie?
Oh my god. The Hunger Games?
That's correct.
Dang it.
Wow. Okay. Next. We're getting close to the end, I think. Maybe. The epic story about how one family's drama continually screws up an entire galaxy.
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars again. They like Star Wars. Um, Everyone tries the ice bucket challenge.
Titanic.
Yeah. Too
That
soon?
is so
Too soon?
fucking awful.
I mean, yeah.
The last one. I don't think I would have ever got this one. Man grows potatoes.
The Martian.
Yeah, good job.
I haven't seen that either or read it.
Wow, you just got the reference.
That's right. I'm on the internet. We talk about the Martian a lot. I guess. I don't know.
I would
Cool.
like to give a fun fact about Shrek.
Let's hear it.
I randomly saw a TikTok. Now, I say fact. I did not fact check this,
Uh-oh.
but
Trouble.
it was David Spade talking to somebody on his podcast, and they mentioned Michael Myers and how they loved him voicing Shrek. Well,
Mm-hmm.
David Spade was super close with Chris Farley, and he said that Chris Farley had technically voiced Shrek and was almost done, and he passed away before it could be done and completed, and they
Oh,
moved on to Michael Myers
never heard that
or
before.
Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Sorry, that was awful.
A valiant attempt.
I'm leaving it in. All right. Lyle, set us up for what we're about to do.
Okay, just real quick. Chris Farley passed away in 1997, and Shrek came out in 2001. So I guess that is technically possible,
Sure.
but I'm not looking up any further. Okay, so what we are about to do is I had the idea that we would watch a movie together. In this case, we watched it together apart, which is
Mhm.
we all watched the movie, but just Aaron and I watched it, and then Toby watched it separately because we haven't seen each other in a few weeks. And we would all watch a movie and then not so much review it, but just kind of go over our thoughts of it and like sort of a review, but not anything overly technical or thought provoking.
So once we say the title, if you haven't seen it and want to, maybe skip ahead because there may be spoilers.
Pause the show and go watch it. But no, it's I had a few different ideas and I'm open for them to present movies to the class as well. So this is just something that I thought we could do here and there whenever we wanted to or didn't have another topic. Like we were supposed to have a Toby non-conspiracy theory this week, but it just really
Mhm.
wasn't coming together. So we're subbing this in instead.
That's right.
And so the movie I chose, which is basically they chose from my list, is The Quick and the Dead. It is a Western from 1995, directed by Sam Raimi, who you may or may not know. He directed a bunch of stuff, but the famous things that he directed were The Evil Dead and The Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, which is the trilogy of movies featuring Bruce Campbell as Ash fighting evil and possession, zombies, skeletons, stuff like that. Then The Quick and the Dead. And then he also did the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. Oz the Great and Powerful, that's the one with James Franco, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series, and he just recently did Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness,
That's what I was wondering. I thought I recognized his name from the Marvel Universe.
which I have heard isn't great, but it has a 6.9 on IMDb, so, nice.
I
I
mean, I'm
made it.
not surprised.
So anyway, he's got a very specific like style of movies. I find like he does even stuff that's like kind of serious. Like Evil Dead is pretty serious horror movie, but it also has comedy in it. So if y'all familiar with The Evil Dead?
Nah.
I am to a certain degree. I've seen
So we watched the
it.
new one. I don't know if you've seen the old ones because they remade it. It's called Evil Dead, I think. And there's a girl, a woman is the main character instead of Bruce Campbell. But it has a similar ending. The Evil Dead is they're in a cabin, I believe, and then there's the Necronomicon, which is the Book of the Dead. They read something out of it in the basement, and a bunch of demons and bad shit happens. Well, in the process, he loses a hand, and his hand is replaced with a chainsaw. So if you've ever seen anything with someone that has a chainsaw hand since 1981, that's what it was inspired by. Or if you've ever played a video game and the shotgun was referred to as a boomstick, that's also from that. But anyway, so yeah, so I had a couple westerns because I really enjoy westerns, but or I did okay. I don't love like the old westerns, but like
Mhm.
the 80s and 90s westerns and then the modern stuff that would fall into the western category I really enjoy, which I have a little quick synopsis of that in a second and then I'll let y'all talk. And I put this on the list because it's okay. It's an okay movie. It's not a great movie, but it has a young Leonardo DiCaprio in it. So I figured I could sway Aaron into the Western watching in that way. Also, a young Russell Crowe.
Also a semi-naked Sharon Stone.
So, yeah, naked for sure.
Look, let me tell you. while we're talking about Russell Crowe, damn, that's it.
Okay, so I have just a little quick write up I did, which is what is a Western? And I didn't go super in depth in this, but it's just I just kind of touched on the themes of what could make something a Western. So there's isolation. Usually you'll be out in the wilderness on your own or something like that. Striving for something, usually in vain. Like it's something that you want to do, like avenge a family member or rob a bank or anything. Travel across a trail, and it's just incredibly difficult and it's probably not going to end well for you and the people around you. Personal transportation is a big one. So it's a lot of like in a Western, you would think of horses, but also any movie where you see like a lone character riding around on a motorcycle or a spaceship. Like if they had their own personal little spaceship that they drive around in, like for example, The Mandalorian is a Western. He's going on a journey of self discovery. He's mostly by himself. He has his own transportation, the conflict of morality or civilization versus the wilderness. So, like a lot of older Westerns would have civilized people versus the natives or versus the Spanish or something like that. Or in the case of this movie that we watched, it's someone who is trying to avenge the death of a loved one against a town basically run by criminals. And then there's usually a journey of some sort and some growth and discovery and like realization. Maybe revenge isn't the answer or something along those lines. And then also the final thing is the ever present danger of death. So usually it's a pretty harrowing situation they're in. What did we just talk about? The Revenant fits a lot of these categories. The Revenant would probably be classified as a Western if I had to guess. So anyway, that's it. So like I like a lot of Westerns and Western themed things, so I wanted to try and get us to watch some. Anyway, that's it.
Back to Russell Crowe, I have to say something, um, I just would like to clarify, Russell Crowe in Unhinged, ew,
I don't know
but
what that
Russell
is.
Crowe in The Quick and the Dead, damn, that's it.
What about Gladiator?
Gladiator, he gets a
What is Unhinged?
Unhinged is a good movie your mom actually told me about, and I watched it.
2020.
It's in 2020. It is about road rage,
I see.
and it's so good. He's the villain.
Interesting. I'll have to watch that. Check that out. All right. Carry on, folks.
Okay, well, um,
You took notes. I know you took some good
I
ones.
didn't I forgot I was taking notes at one point, but I can,
So do we want to like a brief synopsis of the movie or what do we want to do?
yeah, why don't you go ahead and give us a brief synopsis of the movie, and then we can just communicate our feelings about it.
Okay. So
Toby, are you still there? I haven't heard from you in a minute.
I'm just a listening. Sounds
You
good to
didn't
me.
you didn't share my, thoughts on Russell Crowe.
Oh, he was so hot.
Okay, cool.
You're welcome.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. Sharon Stone, I was like, "Damn,"
Mm.
because, like,
For
by
real,
the
I hadn't seen her in something when she was younger in a long time. And when I first saw her, I was like, damn.
yeah. Okay, moving
mm-hmm,
on.
mm-hmm. So this movie opens with our heroine, Sharon Stone, riding through the desert by herself. And she kind of runs into a guy who appears to be digging for something, gold most likely, that he may have buried there, and gets in a little tussle with him, chains him up, and then rides off to a town
Which I would like to
where
say I was confused by from the get-go.
I think they were just setting up for later that she would have like a bit of a minor nemesis
Mm.
because he's the guy who. So anyway, she goes to the town, which is a lawless frontier town ruled by a guy who seems to be kept and like put together. But also, as you go along, you find out he's pretty much extorting the town for protection money, and he used to be a criminal outlaw himself. And the reason she's going is because the town holds a yearly tournament, like a dueling tournament,
Shootout.
and you can anyone who's in the tournament can challenge anyone else throughout the tournament, and her goal is to kill this guy who runs the town because he killed her father when she was a little girl.
Well, technically, she killed her father, but yeah.
Well, yeah, she thought she remembered him being responsible for her father's death.
Right.
But do we know that? Do we know that immediately? I don't know that we know that
No,
immediately.
no, you do not.
No, you just know that she's there, and it's pretty obvious that she's kind of eyeing this guy. Like when he walks in, she gets pretty uncomfortable. She
Yeah.
recognizes him. She knows, and this is Gene Hackman, by the way.
Well, he walks in as a cocky son of a bitch causing trouble. So,
Right.
I mean, clearly he's annoying.
And look, I will say Gene Hackman in this part was fantastic.
He did a good job in the role. You're right.
Yeah, he's just like he knows he's got the power over everyone, and even if he's not the best around, which he pretty much is as far as gunfighting goes, but he's got henchmen who will kill anyone that he if he points at them, basically.
Yeah, he's cheating the whole time.
Yeah. Hey, that's what the villains do. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So that's our general setup. She's there for the gunfight tournament, and her goal is to kill Herod, played by Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Avenge her father.
Yeah, but so when they're when they're trying to get people to sign up for it, she doesn't sign up initially.
Nope.
Um, I think it's the villain, right, that puts both her and
Correct.
kid on the list, right?
Yeah, I did not so much get the feeling that she was going to the town to sign up for the
Yeah, she may
annual.
have just been
I
wanting
think
to
she was
kill
just
him.
going back to her hometown to try to avenge the death of her father. That's what I got.
And it's important to say that, like a good old Western, the name of this town was called Redemption.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's got a lot of hardcore Western tropes, like or when they do the first round of the gunfighting tournament, the camera zooms and the to the clock, and then it's on one character, and then it's on the other character, but slightly closer to his face, and then crazy angles on the guns and stuff. That's both a Sam Raimi thing and a Western thing. That Aaron was like, I could see her kind of making faces about that.
I enjoyed the over the topness of the cinematography and the photography. I thought it was
Oh, it had
interesting.
some gorgeous like vista
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they filmed that on location, some of it at least.
I was struggling like probably almost the first half of the movie because I'm not a huge Western fan typically, and I was like, "Gosh, what's happening here? What can we get something going?" Like they didn't tell you everything right off the bat. List like the story Lyle described unfolds kind of slowly, and you
Yeah,
start learning who she is and why she's there. And I was I was struggling when she goes to the bar and Russell Crowe's character's there. Number one, he's sort of coming off as a priestly guy, right? Like he's not doing violence anymore. He's converted. Obviously, he used to be some sort of sharpshooter and he's renounced those ways. Like that's sort of revealed to you. But
right.
then he's in chains. He's obviously being controlled by the evil guy Herod and his clan. But everyone else seems to hate him, and I just don't get why. It's so confusing to me how everyone's treating him badly for no reason.
Because that they're afraid of the guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you any movie where somebody gets put in stocks, like A Knight's Tale, for example. Like the townsfolk are just like, yeah, that guy's got it worse than me. Ha ha, get him.
But then it's so clear that everyone in the town hates the villain and wants him
Right.
gone. So I don't know, that part confused me. But anyway, then slowly, like
Yeah, but they can't go against him.
they can't go
Certain
against him,
things.
but they don't necessarily have to be all in the way they were. It was just odd to me. I don't know. Just my that was my opinion at the time, so I'm sharing.
Yeah, understandable. Like I
And
said,
then
it's not the bestest movie ever, but it's fun.
right. And then as the second half starts unfolding, you get a little more invested. And I was like, okay, now I want to see what happens. I want to see how
So
it
this
ends.
is their first time seeing this movie, and I have seen this probably a half a dozen times by now.
Yeah.
It used to play on TBS randomly, and I would just watch it on TV.
I like how it takes a while to get set up because it's stuff is happening, and I like to feel slightly confused in the first, I don't know, 30 minutes of a movie and things start to unfold and you kind of learn along with the people around, like along with the people in the movie, what's going on.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I do too. I just was bored, a little bored, I guess was my complaint,
Yeah,
personally.
and it's good. See, a lot of more recent movies, I know Aaron has had issues with. I couldn't name any specifically right now, but they do this, but they're 3.5 hours long.
Hmm.
So you're like bored and like, well, is anything gonna happen for 2 whole hours? Which this entire movie is an hour and 48 minutes.
Yeah,
So
it's quick.
I
you at
think
least
one of the newer Batmans was like that. Like
oh, the third one, yeah, the third
the
Nolan
3rd
one.
Christian Bale one, yeah. Like I was like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, can we just do something?"
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember feeling that way about that movie too.
Like I spent $12 on you.
Anyway, Aaron, continue. You were kind of talking about your feelings towards the movie.
Um, I did not like the over the top, like, whenever I forget, um, it wasn't so much the over the top, like, parts of the movie, but it was, like, the, like, vignette parts of the movie, I guess, for lack of a better word,
Mm,
where it's just that character on a black screen,
mm,
and they're going to a different character on a black screen, and you're seeing the things that are happening, but they're removed from their legitimate backgrounds. Someone help me, Lyle.
I don't even know exactly what you I don't remember that. When did that happen? Like, they're in the
They're, like,
gunfights?
in a big gunfight. Well, no, they're not in a gun they're in the gunfights, but it's when they're speeding through all of the other gunfights that really aren't important for the story.
hmm.
Oh, and then they're just kinda showing our main characters and how they're taking the fights in, basically, but they're not in the city. They're just in the smoke room, as we would call it in the WWE,
Yeah, they're
where, like, somebody's just backstage in a room with some smoke behind them, a dark room,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they're not anywhere.
Yeah, they're just that it's just that
Yeah, I
character.
don't know why they did that.
Like, it cheapened the whole thing for me.
I guess it's just trying to make sure you focus in on them and you're not looking at, like, the set dressing or the extras in the background or whatever. You just wanna see, "Oh, she's disgusted that people are getting killed," or,
But it's not
what
even
was
those parts, it's the people, like, it was just the people getting shot, and it was just black screen here with this guy getting shot, black screen there with this guy getting shot, and it was, like, I don't know, it was probably a good minute, 2 minutes long of this, I don't know what you call that in films, but
Montage.
yeah, montage of the shootout,
Hmm.
again, for, like, the unimportant characters. Um, I just kinda feel like you could have done that exact same thing without removing all the shit around it, and I would have appreciated it more. The 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 all the other cinematography things, like zooming in on the clock, hearing the clock strike 12, um, when it's just the click of the hour hand or the minute hand, zooming in on the faces to just the eyes, like, none of that bothers me. It's just that other stuff where I was like, "Okay," like, because I know I at that specific part, I looked over at you and just, like, with a disgusted smile. 'Cause I was just like, "Why?"
Oh, I really like that it was so a lot of Westerns will have, like, one, like, shootout in the town square or something like that,
Hmm.
but because this one was a tournament, it wasn't always at high noon.
Right.
So you had the dawn, the sunrise shootout and the 9 a.m. Duel and stuff like that. So I just like that it wasn't always at noon. I thought that was a good touch.
I'll say too, I hated the way he died when she shot him. Ain't no bullet
He
gonna cause a motherfucker to backflip. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah, the
come
big
on.
backflip. Right, because like, we had already seen at that point, like, one guy got shot in his head,
Yeah.
and we had a whole, like
I mean, it was like a baseball bat could fit through his head.
Yeah, big 3-inch circle of head blown out of the back, which that is possible, but you
Not from
wouldn't
a
see right
pistol.
through it. But also, I mean, you also gotta think the first time she shot our main villain at the end, you see, like, the sunlight coming through the hole in his
Yeah,
body as if it wouldn't just immediately fill up with blood or whatever.
correct.
That's just all,
That too is
but anyway,
But then again, also, like, that's kind of very Quentin Tarantino-y, like, in all his movies like that. I feel like
yeah, and Tarantino's movies are all after, well, not after this, but they're after Sam Raimi started making, like, the Evil Dead series that I was talking about, so I'm sure he had some sort of influence on Tarantino.
I didn't hate the way he died, but I also made a comment. I was like,
You did comment about the
yeah,
backflip. She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Look, it's like, look, I think I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, but I'm a pro wrestling fan, and sometimes a guy gets clotheslined and just like gets collapses like a bag of shit, and sometimes a guy gets clotheslined and does like a double backflip out of it. It's just it depends on the guy and the showmanship of the moment.
yeah.
But yeah, the backflip from getting shot was kind of silly. I mean, I'm not gonna deny that. So, what did y'all think about the movie overall? What were your general thoughts on the Western and the movie?
I have 3 things I wanna say just to point out. This was my notes. I'm gonna read my notes exactly how I wrote them. Quick and the Dead. Bullet point. The dude that strikes a match on Preacher's face. Y'all remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah, you were like, "Oh my god."
I was appalled. Um, bullet point number 2. Leonardo DiCaprio is fine. Fine, of course, but looks about as old as my nephew, so I struggled with that.
Mhm.
So I think that's why I became so appreciative of Russell Crowe. Um, bullet point number 3, kid picks up horse shit with bare hands.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. To throw at Russell Crowe's character again. Why do you hate
Right.
him so much?
Yeah, I don't so
Jesus
we
Christ.
lay so during the movie, we find out that he was a member of Herod's gang at one point. Unclear whether he was part of the gang when they came to this town, but he was definitely a part of the gang and wouldn't do something, so he got basically kicked out of the gang or he were fled or something like that and went renounced violence and became a preacher, but then they dragged him back into it.
And let me just tell you, that preacher effed the shit out of Sharon Stone. Anyway, moving on.
We don't know that. We can assume that. But they
I
didn't show
mean,
us.
We know.
they
They
showed
didn't
us
show us.
some.
Not much.
Anyway, that's all I got for it. Oh, you wanted us to say, overall, it was entertaining for me. Wasn't the best
Okay.
movie I've seen, wasn't the worst movie I've seen. Didn't I didn't feel any hate towards it because it was a Western, and, I'm glad that you clarified earlier that you aren't a huge fan of, like, the old style Westerns.
No, so like my dad's oldest brother is Lord, what, 10 years older than him, 12 years older than him? And he used to always watch westerns, like the old black and white westerns at my grandparents' house when I was over there. And I would watch them and stuff, but I'm not super into most of those. But just the general themes and the exploration and the loneliness, the or not necessarily loneliness, but being alone, like out in the wilderness and exploration and stuff. I just generally I like a lot of space westerns and there's a lot of samurai movies that draw heavily from Western themes and stuff like that that I enjoy. So
Okay. Alright, Toby, what was your overall thought?
Overall, I guess I'd give it like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just an okay movie.
Were you entertained?
I mean, I was mildly entertained, sure.
would you watch another Western, a better Western?
I mean, I would, but it's not the kind of movies I typically like to watch, I would say. Not this style, anyway.
Yeah. I have one other Western on my list of stuff that I want them to watch. That's like an actual Western. That's what I really want to watch, but this was I felt like a good entry point to get there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Alright, well,
Cool.
since you, recommended the movie, I can assume that you like the movie enough to recommend it. So, I guess we
Yeah,
could
like I said, it's kind of like there's a lot of movies that I think are not necessarily a good movie, but they are enjoyable enough to watch through again. Like the first Resident Evil movie, for example.
Like The Kissing Booth.
Sure. And this is one, and like I said, it's a bit more modern. It has actors and actresses that I knew y'all would recognize more than like a classic Western would. And so I thought it would be a good like starting off point to
Cool.
maybe get into some other ones later.
All right. Well, cool. That was fun. Should
Yeah.
we move on over to our next segment?
Well, let's move it on over. Aaron, tell us something we don't know.
Okay. Well, fun story. I forgot that I was supposed to do the Did You Know? So I literally looked something up and I found something interesting enough to share
That's how we
All
roll
right.
over here at
literally
Immediate
like
Chats.
30 minutes ago.
Cool, let's hear it.
There is a tree known as the sandbox tree. Any of you are familiar?
Negative.
This is not the tree that owns itself, right?
That owns itself?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then no, I don't know what this is.
It's part of the evergreen family.
Okay.
I mean, it's an evergreen tree
Mm-hmm.
in the family Euphorbiaceae. Just
Ooh,
trust me.
that sounds sexual.
It sounds like you pronounced that perfectly.
It's native to the tropical regions of North and South America, including the Amazon rainforest. It's considered an invasive species and is also nicknamed the dynamite tree.
Oh,
Oh, that's way less friendly.
Yeah,
yeah.
you wanna guess why?
Does he drop bombs from his branches?
If you smoke near it, you're in for a bad time.
No. It grows pumpkin-like pumpkin-shaped fruits. I'm pretty sure they're smaller than fruits, but they explode when they're ripe, like, literally
Oh,
explode, and
so you could just be walking through the woods and this tree could just bust on you.
yeah,
Bus on you.
um, it says they're large pumpkin-shaped capsules, but 1 to 2 inches long, 2 to 3 inches in diameter, so that's not really large.
That's what she said.
When they explode, they shoot their seeds
Yes.
out at 70 meters per second.
I
Right?
mean, come on. Euphoria
There's
what? What you said? I told you this was sexual. I knew it.
Euphorbiaceae.
That's 156.5 miles per hour.
Yes, yes.
I
They
Googled it because I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, me too.
And I see these little pumpkins.
yeah.
I see a YouTube video titled "This Tree Wants You Dead."
Look
Yeah, it can,
at that spiny trunk.
oh, I
Yeah.
forgot to mention it also is poisonous, so
Of course it is.
Oh yeah. Why not?
Dang.
and
Yeah, it's got a spiky trunk. Glad that part doesn't explode. Sheesh.
Never
and
heard of this tree. Never want to see one.
there's a headline. I'll let you go research, but the headline is from March 28th, 2023. Sandbox tree seeds cause mass poisoning at Central Highland School.
Oh, geez.
And where are these native to again?
North and South America. And the
Oh,
Amazon.
good.
And the Amazon, according to Aaron.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't
the
want to go there
Amazon.
anyway.
Yeah.
That shit seems
Yeah, I
dangerous.
see somebody's hand full of holes, and this doesn't seem like a good.
I don't know if that's legit. That looks like a trypophobia
I
trap.
agree, but still.
Tropical regions of North and South America, including the Amazon rainforest, also present in parts of Tanzania.
Yeah, if you have trypophobia, don't look this up.
All right, let's list some things.
All right, so this was kind of an experimental topic that I had, and I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. So we'll see what everybody did. But I had top 3 pranks. Now this could be pranks you pulled, pranks pulled against you, or pranks you have heard of if you weren't really sure about anything of the above 2 categories. And I didn't know if we would do like top 3 of each or just a grand total top 3. I ended up just doing a top 3, which includes both a prank pulled against me, and 2 pranks pulled by me.
Okay.
So, do we want to do? Did y'all each also do 3?
I only have 2 actually.
Okay,
I
Aaron.
have 3.
Okay, do we want to do? Do we want to do the round robin like we did last time? 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Sure.
I like that.
Or do we like one? Or do we like one person listing their whole
All right,
list?
let's go around.
All right, so we'll go and then we'll go again since you don't have a number 3.
Okay, sure.
So I'll go first.
Okay.
Is that okay, Aaron?
Yeah.
Number 3 is a prank pulled against me. In high school, we were at a marching band festival, and to set this up a bit, our old band uniforms, our original band uniforms when I first got into high school, had like a frilly front piece, like the front of a vest kind of, that had a belt and a neck piece. So it had no sides and no back. And then we had a cummerbund that we wear over that, and then an overcoat that just fastened at the neck and hung open like an A shape. So you would see the frilly thing and the
That's
cummerbund.
some risque uniforms.
Yeah. So for some reason, several of the like all boy sections in the band, like the trumpets and the drums, we did not wear t-shirts underneath of this outfit. We just wore the 3 pieces. Uh, Nothing was exposed, just what we did for I don't know why. The older kids told us that's what we did, so that's what we did. So anyway, we were at some band festival. I cannot remember which one. And I had my coat off as I was getting ready to march for the festival, get my trumpet ready and what have you. And when it was time to march out on the field, I put my coat back on, and shortly after, I started to get really itchy. I was confused about what happened. It felt like I had been in like fiberglass insulation. It was like that kind of
Oh
itchy.
my.
And so I was like, oh, dude, I put my jacket on because you know how like the hood of a tractor or something like that, like it'll start deteriorating over time, and the
Yeah.
fiberglass will get on stuff, or a boat, like an old Piro or
Yep.
something. So I thought maybe I had just put my jacket on something or put it on the ground, and there was something there. I don't know, but I was like, oh, this sucks. But then you have to go march in a band show, which is like 10-ish minutes long. And I was just itching like crazy, but I had to stay at attention and play my instrument and do my thing, get to all my spots. So I did do that. It was so bad. I was so uncomfortable.
Wait, did you say what instrument you were playing?
I played trumpet.
Okay.
I just marched my show pretending like I wasn't itching, and when we got done, I was like, "Ah, scratchy, 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 take my jacket off, like putting water on myself. Could never figure out what happened, and I didn't suspect anything until much later, like probably months later, when I found out that one of my fellow trumpet players had a container of itching
What a
powder.
dick.
So I'm pretty sure that they itching powdered my jacket.
Just you?
I mean, as far as I know, yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it's kinda like falling asleep with shoes on, you leave your jacket unattended and don't look around, you get got. So that was, pretty shitty, and I didn't like it.
I have never been the victim of itching powder. How about you, Aaron?
It
Not me.
Mm-mm.
well, it go stick your arm in some fiberglass, and
No, thank
that's
you.
what it's like. Alright, Aaron, what's your number 3?
I've been looking for the name of that thing. I can't
What
seem to
thing?
find it. That
What
little
thing?
piece he's talking about.
Oh, the frilly front thing?
Yeah, I can't
Oh, the uniform piece.
right. My number 3. We're at a restaurant, Chinese restaurant, with me, Lyle, our friend Lawrence, and Lyle's cousin, Jacob. And at some point, Lawrence said something we were talking I don't even know what we were talking about. Colleges, maybe? I don't know. But in Louisiana, we have names of, cities, towns that, look like they're pronounced one way, but
A lot of stuff named after, like, native tribes names or customs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
they look like they're pronounced one way, but they are not pronounced that way at all. Anyway, it's real fun to hear things in our area be pronounced by people that are not from here because it's almost always wrong.
Yeah, like the Weather Channel when a hurricane's coming in is peak comedy for the South Louisiana folk.
Mhm.
Anyway, so, Lawrence is from Michigan,
The old Detroiter.
but he knew that this was not the correct way to pronounce this, but in his Lawrence ways, he said, "Natchitoches."
Mhm.
Now, we all know it's pronounced Natchitoches,
The town
but
of Natchitoches.
it's spelled
Mhm.
Natchitoches.
Mhm.
Anyway, so Lyle's cousin Jacob said, dude, it's pronounced Natchitoches." And I looked at him like he was the dumbest person alive, and I said, "No, it's not. It's pronounced Natchitoches." And
This was not previously discussed, by the way. We just
On the
kinda
fly.
rolled with what
yeah,
he said.
and he was like, Yes, it is. That's Natchitoches." And I was like, "No, it's Natchitoches." And so he's kinda, like, looking at me, looking at Lyle, and Lyle's like and I guess he must have asked Lyle for, like, reassurance, and Lyle was like, "Yeah, it's pronounced Natchitoches, bro." Like
Where you been?
yeah, so anyway, we just went with that for several minutes until he was like
Yeah, this is my first cousin, by the way. So we grew up together. Like, we would have pronounced things the same
yeah.
way.
Or
He
Jacobs.
was he eventually was just like, "Well, that's not the way I know it's pronounced." So he just kind of agreed with the fact that maybe we were right, but he's always heard it this other way.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is
It was so funny because he wanted to argue with us, but he was just like, "You know what? Maybe I am wrong." We convinced him, and then by the end of the dinner, I think we were like, "I know.
Alright, number 2, Toby?
Yeah, get in on this."
Okay. So my number two, Aaron and Lyle actually reminded me about this one. We were hanging out at Aaron's parents' house one weekend, and Aaron and I were near each other or something, and we had a deck of cards we had been playing around with. And so we kind of just real quick, while no one was paying attention, said, "Hey, Aaron, go along with me. Just go along with what's about to happen." I don't even know if I
Well,
explained.
no. I'm pretty sure I either texted you or put on my phone, and I
Oh, was
was
it?
like, "Pretend I'm a magician."
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I just showed you the phone.
the details are fuzzy for me, but some
Yeah.
sort of way we very discreetly just like said, "Hey, go with me." That's pretty much what happened, right? And so I think I had the deck of cards, and if I
No.
remember, no, well, it will help me because, like I said, the
Yeah.
details are fuzzy.
It was me that was doing the magic, and you were picking the cards.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically,
The magic.
Yeah.
Aaron would have me pick a card, or she would pick a card out of the deck and ask me if it was my card, and that's kind of the gist of it. And basically, whatever she pulled, I would agree, like, and
Yeah.
act so surprised, like, "How the fuck are you doing this? Yes, that was my card." And
But I, like, did a bunch of, like, magic,
yeah, she did
like
some stuff in the middle, threw it.
He dealt the cards out and
Yeah,
counted
yeah, yeah,
and pushed shuffled them up and then dealt them out
yeah,
again, and we're her dad and I are just watching, just innocent
and
victims.
Toby is a really good liar.
yeah. I was hamming it up, like, I was really playing it like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I was so shocked.
I had to do this trick 3 times because my dad was like, "Do it again. I wanna see how I'm gonna figure it out."
Yeah, and I was right there with him, like, "Yeah, we have to figure out what she's doing."
And
Anyway,
I think it was, like, on the 3rd time where I was like, "Do you wanna know
yeah,
how it's done?" And
yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, I guess so." Do you remember what happened?
You might have said something about how we were lying or whatever, and I think I remember him just being like, "Oh, I feel like such an idiot."
Yeah, I was like, "Well, the way that this trick works is you just text your friend to go
Yeah.
along with your lies before." They were they were so mad.
They were mad,
I'm still
but
mad.
laughing so much that we pulled that
Like,
off.
so Toby was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna have any pranks." So we were trying to help him think of some stuff that maybe we had all done together, and I brought this up, and as soon as I brought it up, I got mad about it again. Like, "Oh god, we were so stupid. We just got
It was
got."
funny. You guys should do something like
And
that to your
Lyle
family.
should know that I don't know magic tricks like that.
I don't know, you learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube in, like, 5 days.
True.
You can do anything as far as I'm
True
aware.
story. All right, that's my
Okay,
first.
Lyle, number 2.
Alright, number 2, also in high school. I got boring after high school, I guess. So for
Well, I
homecoming
wasn't
one
gonna
year,
say it.
my group of friends and I snuck into another one of our friends, which was my best friend at the time's house because his family always left, like, the back door unlocked. Like, he would ride he and his brother would like ride the bus home or whatever, and they would just didn't have keys. They would just go in through the unlocked back door. I don't know why they didn't just get keys made. But anyway, so we went in his house. I don't remember if we informed his mom we were doing this or not, but we just went in and we toilet paper. So for homecoming, if you don't know, I don't know if this is entire United States thing or if this is a local thing. I don't know. But so for homecoming, the high school kids will go around and toilet paper their friends' houses, throw toilet paper all in their trees and on their bushes and in their yards and everywhere. Just make a big mess, basically. So rather than toilet papering the outside of his house, we thought it would be hilarious to toilet paper the inside of his house. So we snuck into his house. We went into his room. We did just his room. We didn't do the whole house. And we toilet papered his whole room. We like wrapped his bed in toilet paper. We had some like police caution tape that we spread all over the place and hooked around the door and everything. Then we closed up and we left. And we thought it was so funny. However, he was having his out of state girlfriend that he had met online come to town that weekend or that week. And he did not think it was funny when he brought her home to his house after picking her up from the airport. And that's what his room looked like. So that more or less ended his friendship with all of us, which there was like probably 8 of us that did that,
Oh no.
which did suck. But I mean, come on, that's just funny. Like you can't be permanently mad about that.
How terrible.
But so yeah, so that's my number 2 prank.
Okay.
All right. My number 2 is Lawrence again. Same guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lawrence.
he was, like, really tall, really skinny, and he had a deep voice like Lyle just did.
Attempted.
Yeah. Um,
I could never match him.
yeah, no, it's really deep. But anyway, um, he and I used to chat, like, during work hours on Google Chat when that was a thing, like, just because you get bored during the day. I don't know if he must have been working at this point. Anyway, we were talking about me and Lyle's relationship, and he was like, "Well, how old are you?" And at the time, I was probably 26-ish, and I told him I was, like, 22. And he was like,
And he knew how old I was, which would have been 25 if she was 26.
"Yeah, maybe we were a little older than that."
No, that's about right because it would have been between 2011 and 2013 or so, probably.
Okay. Um, anyway, so he was like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm 22, 21, whatever it was." And he's like, "Well," so he started asking all these questions. He's like a really intelligent guy. Um, Started asking all these questions like, "Wait a second. How old were you when you and Lyle got together?" And so I was like, I don't know. I made up an age that made sense because we were already married. "So that means y'all got married at this age?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, he called my bullshit, he totally didn't believe me, and he was like, "You're gonna have to prove it." I'm like, "How do you want me to prove it?" He's like, "Send me a picture of your license." And I was like, "Okay, hold on, let me find it." Well, I'm a designer. I went to college for art, graphic design. I photoshopped my license to go along with the lie and then sent it to him. And for, like, several months, I went along with this. I told all of their friends to go along with it as well.
Yeah, it could have been like a year or more that he thought you were
Yeah,
much younger than me.
yeah, but that's it. I photoshopped my license. Um, I don't know if that's illegal, but if it is, I didn't print it out, okay? I didn't use it to get into a bar. I was already appropriately aged. Thank you.
She lowered her
Yeah,
age for a joke. Don't come after us, FBI.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, Toby.
Okay, the other prank I thought of. So I used to live on the other side of town, close to our city's local fairgrounds. And every year, the firemen in the town put on what's called the Firemen's Fair. It's a big old event that raises a lot of money for the firemen in my city. And a lot of people go to this, and sometimes parking can be hectic at that area. So I lived on the street that the fair happened on, just a little bit further up from the street, definitely within walking distance. So a friend of mine's daughter was in high school at the time. Um, she had called me to ask if she could park her car in my driveway or in my yard, rather than having to go fight the traffic at the fairgrounds. And so it's like, yeah, that's no problem. So she did, and I'm sitting at home, and I had the bright idea to mess with them. So I went online, much like Aaron, and photoshopped a fake ticket, making it seem like they were being ticketed for illegally parking in uh, on residential property, unauthorized parking. So I kind of made it look legit, and I just stuck it under the wiper, like the windshield wiper. So they were out late. No idea what time they got in. Next day, I get a phone call from their mom saying, "Can you believe they got a freaking ticket for parking in your yard?" I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" She was like, "Yeah, so and so, her daughter, so and so got a ticket for parking in your yard, even though she called you and had permission. Like, we're gonna have to fight this." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely, we're gonna have to fight this. That makes no sense. How can they just give tickets? How do they know it's not my vehicle?" Like, I egged it on for a bit. And finally, I confessed that it was me and it was a fake ticket.
That's pretty good.
Had him going for a little bit.
That's pretty good.
This was Leslie and well, I think her oldest daughter. This happened to.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's me up. My number one is not really a prank, I guess, but it is an ongoing thing that I enjoy greatly. So it kind of fits the category. And it is sneaking up on Aaron. Now, I often don't do this on purpose, but sometimes I do, or I'll do it on accident and then I'll do it on purpose again the same night. So
'Cause you're an
apparent
asshole.
apparently when I move around the house, I'm just silent, which I don't feel like I'm silent, but Erin never knows. So she'll be downstairs, say, for example, putting the dishes away in the kitchen from the dishwasher. And I'll walk downstairs and I'll be kind of standing behind her to get to the laundry room or the garage or something like that. And I don't say anything. I'm just waiting for her to move. And she turns around and almost all the time goes, yeah, like she had no idea I was there. And so now I just do it as much as I can, pretty much, because it's so funny every time.
Poor
That's
Aaron.
funny. I'm not even that I'm not even really that jumpy or
No,
scared of things like that.
you aren't. You really aren't.
But for some reason, maybe it's just your face.
Maybe. Because I'll sometimes, you come home and your dog is like bark, 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 and you're like, I live here. Chill. But it's kind of like that. Like she gets scared of me and I'm like, I live here. Like, why are you surprised to see me all the time?
Um, this happened to me the other day when I was on the phone with Casey. It didn't really happen to me, it happened to her. I was talking to her, like, literally mid-sentence, and she screamed at the top of her lungs, and she therefore scared me. I'm like, "What the hell?" And she was like, "I gotta go. My husband's home. I didn't know he was coming home." I was like, "Okay." But anyway, so I'm not the only one.
That's funny.
Okay, so my number 1 might be my favorite thing ever,
Okay.
and Lyle had to remind me of it. So, when I kind of freshly moved to Lafayette, and for a couple years after that, we lived in a house that was practically on campus in at the college, local college here. There's also a park on campus that's very popular. I used to go, like, walk in it sometimes. You could go feed the ducks, have picnics, whatever. Every once in a while, we'll bring our kids there now. Um, but I am about 5 years older than my cousin Ashley, and she also came to this local college. This was her freshman year. She had a friend visiting town, she lived with another friend. They decided it was probably 10:30 at night that they were gonna go to the park, which was actually, like, kinda far from where they lived, to have a Nerf gun war. Now, so she calls me and she says, "Hey, do you wanna come meet us at the park? We're gonna have a Nerf gun war." And I was like, "Dang." So, like, part of me wanted to go, but also I had just taken a shower. It was 10:30, I had to work the next day. So I legitimately decided and told her, I was like, "No, we're not gonna go." Well, something came over me in the 5 minutes that I was off the phone, and I ran to the back of the house to Lyle, who was on the computer, and I said, "Hey, Ashley and her friends are going to the park to have a Nerf gun war. I told her we aren't coming, but we should go and surprise them and, like, take them out and then run back home." So we did that. And then she s
Nice.
they when we got there, they were not even having a Nerf gun war anymore, they were all on the swings at the park, and we were sneaking up on them. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And at one point, I heard Ashley go, "Who is that?" And, like, we both just, I guess, charged after them with our Nerf guns, and then we had a Nerf gun war, and then we rolled out and ran home.
That's fantastic.
It was a lot of fun and, was kind of unplanned, and we truly lived in the moment at that point.
That's awesome.
I don't even know if we collected our Nerf darts. I think we just shot out everything we had and then ran
I don't
away.
think we did because it would be impossible to have found them anyway, because it was super dark,
Super dog.
but yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
But anyway, guys, sorry if
Well,
this went a
cool.
little long, but we had some exciting things to talk about.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't go find yourself by any, sandbox trees.
I absolutely will not.
Couple of things about this podcast, I guess, to wrap up. Number one, and most importantly, watch out for the sandbox trees. Don't touch them. Don't stand under them. Don't stand near them. Just avoid them altogether. If someone says a sandbox tree's near you, go the opposite direction.
Correct.
Number
But,
two,
like, far away.
but really far away, yeah, because they gonna get you. Um, number two, if you ain't quick, you dead. That's just facts, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep,
and so
we saw it in action.
do yourself a favor and watch The Quick and the Dead so you know how to be quick so you don't be dead. Number three, if you have not pulled a prank on someone in a long time, you should strongly consider doing it. It's fun, makes for a great story. It's brings people happiness to hear about pranks. So go do it. Go prank someone tomorrow.
So, Aaron, Toby said that he has not pranked in a while, and we are going somewhere with him in a week and a half. So
Guard
keep that on your
guard
mind.
is up. Guard is up.
Was that all your touching points on the podcast?
What was the last thing I wanted to share? Oh, the last thing I wanted to share was I learned through an email that was sent through my work that March apparently is National Women's Month.
Yep.
So thank a woman tomorrow, if you think about it, for all of the
Name one
for
woman.
all of the wonderful things that they add to your life.
Or we could think a woman now.
Well, not now. There's none really present worth thanking now. But
Look, we thanked you for your cooking a couple weeks ago.
happy National Women's Month to you, Eric. You are a
Thank
fine mother and
thank
an
you.
overall wonderful
A
woman.
fine, a fine
Thank
mother.
you.
That's
Can
all
we
my wrap up points.
can
Yes.
we replace fine with hot?
I mean, you do you is what I will say. I'm not going to do that, but you do you.
Okay, also, number 4, Sharon Stone's tits.
Oh
Bye.
man. I I'm not going to say I didn't rewind. Is all I'm just all I'm going to say.
That is not how you're supposed to celebrate National Women's Month.
I mean,
It was
that's one way.
it was admiration, not objective
Respectfully.
respectful, but not
We were looking
objectification.
respectfully.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
What a fine woman she is.
That was exactly what I thought.
She must
Exactly.
really take care of herself.
That's yep. Yup.
Hey, she was the hero of the movie.
She was.
So
She was.
that's not common in westerns.
Excuse me, the heroine.
As a woman in a lead role in a Western, I will say she held it down. She really did. Okay, that is going to wrap up our 5th podcast. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you
I
guys for
tried to wrap it
joining.
up at Sharon Stone's tits, but
All right,
We can't not comment on
we're
it.
rolling out. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.